Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive,
Yes, welcome back.
where we, as you guys know, take a deep dive into some interesting articles.
That's right.
Today it's going to be all about personal finance.
Yes, personal finance is the topic for today.
We have 3 articles.
3,
Kind of all around the theme of,
leveling up your money game.
yes, leveling up your money game. I like that.
That's right.
So we're going to go through some different aspects of personal finance.
We are.
And hopefully give you some great takeaways that you can put into practice.
Practical and actionable advice is the goal.
Absolutely, yeah. When I was reading through these articles,
Yeah.
one of the things that struck me was
Yeah.
how much debate there is about even just like the fundamentals. Like,
Sure.
should you pay off debt
Right.
or should you save first?
Yeah. Huge debate about that. And as we were saying before we hit record,
Yeah.
there's no one right answer.
Yeah.
It all depends on
Right. It depends on your situation,
your circumstances,
Yeah.
your risk tolerance,
your goal.
your goals. Exactly.
But it's interesting to see both sides of that argument.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And hopefully by highlighting those different arguments,
Yeah.
we can give our listeners kind of
A more holistic picture.
a holistic picture. Exactly.
Okay, so I think we should start with something that everyone always talks about,
Right.
budgeting.
Budgeting. Yes.
Yeah.
So all 3 articles
Mm-hmm.
emphasize this idea of budgeting as the foundation
Foundation.
of any sound financial plan.
Yes. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
They don't just say, oh, just track your expenses.
Right.
Yeah.
They go a little bit deeper than that. They talk about
Yeah.
the psychology of spending
Yeah.
and how just the act of tracking where your money goes can actually lead to more mindful spending.
It makes you more aware.
Exactly.
Okay, so we know we need to track it.
Yes.
What are the tools?
Well, the articles talk about using budgeting apps
Mm-hmm.
like Mint.
Mint is a great one
Yeah.
to kind of automate the process.
Automate and streamline it.
Because it can be really tedious, right?
It can be.
Yeah.
But these apps make it so much easier. You can link your bank accounts,
Right.
your credit cards,
Categorize
and
everything.
categorize everything. It's all done for you.
What I think is really interesting is they talk about using the budget to understand your spending habits, not to restrict yourself.
Right. It's not about deprivation.
It's not about saying I can't spend any money.
No, it's about making informed choices.
Right.
And one of the articles talks about categorizing your spending into needs versus wants.
I like that.
And sometimes just seeing that laid out in front of you
Yeah,
can be enough to prompt some positive changes.
for sure. It's eye-opening.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It can be a little bit scary at first, but
Right.
it's ultimately empowering.
Okay, so we've got that budgeting basics.
Okay.
But then we get to this big question.
Yeah.
Emergency fund or tackling debt first?
Right.
Big debate.
I feel like this is the biggest debate.
It is. And the articles themselves disagree a little bit.
But that's actually helpful for our listeners because it reflects reality.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's the classic debt avalanche method
Uh-huh.
where you focus on paying down the debt with the highest interest rate first.
Okay.
So you're saving money in the long run,
Makes sense.
but it can feel like a really long, slow climb,
Right. Especially if it's a big debt.
especially if it's a substantial amount of debt.
Yeah.
And then there's the debt snowball method,
Okay.
which focuses on paying off the smallest debt first,
Regardless of interest rate.
regardless of interest rate.
Okay.
And this can be really motivating.
Because you see those wins.
But you get those quick wins. You build that momentum,
I like that.
but it might not be the most mathematically efficient in the long run.
So it really comes down to personality.
It does. It does. And all the articles stress this. The best debt reduction strategy is the one you'll actually stick to.
It has to be sustainable.
Exactly. Sustainability is key.
Now, what about this emergency fund?
All right. The emergency fund. So all the articles agree it's crucial,
Crucial.
but there's some different opinions on exactly how much to save.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So the most common recommendation
Uh-huh.
is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
Okay.
But one article argues that in today's economy,
Oh, interesting.
even that might not be enough,
Especially with all the volatility we've seen lately.
especially if you have dependents or you're in a volatile job market.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They suggest aiming for closer to 9 to 12 months.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot. But imagine facing a job loss
Right.
or a major medical expense without any kind of cushion.
Oh, yeah. That would be really
It
scary.
would be incredibly stressful.
Yeah, so it's peace of mind.
It is peace of mind.
But it is a lot of money.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. But the articles do offer some practical tips
Okay.
on how to build that fund faster.
Like what?
So things like selling unused items,
Okay.
picking up a side hustle,
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
or even negotiating a lower cable bill.
Oh, I like that one.
It's about getting creative.
Finding those extra dollars.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of getting creative, one article mentioned debt settlement.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Debt settlement. This is an option, but it's important to understand the implications.
Okay.
So debt settlement involves negotiating with your creditors to pay a reduced amount of your total debt.
So you don't have to pay the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which can be helpful if you're struggling to make even the minimum payments.
Right.
But it comes with a downside.
What's the downside?
It can negatively impact your credit score.
Okay. Yeah. That's not good.
It can make it harder to get loans.
Yeah.
Even rent an apartment.
Makes sense.
So it's not a decision to be taken lightly.
Right. And like you said, it's not a magic wand.
It's not. The articles emphasize that it should only be considered after you've exhausted other options.
Okay.
Like debt consolidation or negotiating a hardship plan with your creditors.
So this is kind of a last resort.
Yeah. It's kind of a last resort before something like bankruptcy.
Yeah, which is a whole other...
Which is a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Nobody wants to think about that.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to building that financial foundation.
Yeah. We talked about creating a budget.
Right.
Understanding your spending habits and tackling debt strategically.
So what's next?
What's next? Well, I think we need to talk about those midterm goals.
Okay. Like what?
Things like insurance and student loans.
Oh, okay.
These can feel a little less immediate.
Than paying off a credit card bill.
Right.
For sure.
But they're equally important for your overall financial health.
Okay, so let's dive into that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me in these articles was this emphasis on insurance. Especially
after COVID.
After COVID.
Yeah, it's like everyone.
There's like a wake-up call for a lot of people.
I think so, too.
Who realized they weren't as prepared as they thought they were.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just health insurance either.
Right.
It was life insurance and disability insurance.
Yeah, and those are things that...
Especially if you have dependents.
People don't like to think about, but it's so important.
It is. Life insurance can provide that financial security for your loved ones.
Right.
In case the unthinkable happens.
Yeah.
And disability insurance protects your income if you're unable to work.
Right.
Due to an illness or an injury.
I have to admit, I used to think of insurance as like one of those adulting things that I would figure out later.
Right.
But reading these articles, it really drove home the point that it's not just about protecting yourself.
Right.
It's about protecting the people you care about.
It's about protecting your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not about getting bogged down in these complex policies either.
Right.
One of the articles recommends starting with term life insurance.
Okay.
Which is generally more straightforward and affordable
than permanent
life insurance. Term life.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, so term life insurance for peace of mind.
There you go.
But what about all these student loans?
Student loans.
That so many people are carrying.
Yeah. Huge issue.
Huge.
And these articles have some interesting insights.
Yeah. What did they say?
About managing it effectively.
Okay.
Refinancing is one option that they discussed.
Okay. Refinancing that always.
Especially for those with high interest rates.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to lower their monthly payment?
Exactly.
But I remember reading there's a potential downside.
There can be.
Especially with federal student loans.
Yes. If you refinance federal student loans with a private lender, you could be giving up some valuable benefits.
Benefits
like income-driven repayment plans.
Okay.
Or even loan forgiveness programs.
So you have to weigh the pros and cons.
You have to look at the big picture.
Exactly.
Not just the interest rate.
What other strategies did they mention?
Well, those same debt reduction methods that we talked about earlier.
You mean like...
The debt avalanche and the debt snowball?
Yeah.
Those can be applied to student loans as well.
Okay, so the same principle.
Same principles.
Finding what works for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about insurance.
Yes.
We talked about student loan debt. But I feel like we're missing a piece of the puzzle here.
What's that?
I feel like all these midterm goals are all about responsibility and planning for the future. But where's the fun?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Right.
That's where the idea of dream goals comes in.
Okay.
One of the articles specifically emphasizes incorporating your aspirations into your financial plan.
I like this.
Even if they seem far off.
Now we're talking about saving for that dream house.
Yes.
Planning a trip around the world.
Absolutely.
Starting your own business.
Whatever sets your soul on fire.
I love that.
It's not just about paying bills and being responsible.
Right.
It's about designing a life you love.
Yeah.
And that includes pursuing those things that bring you joy and fulfillment.
I like that a lot.
The key is finding that balance.
Okay.
between meeting your essential financial obligation,
the needs,
versus the wants.
and making space for those dream goals.
So it's not about
delaying gratification indefinitely.
Set it off forever.
No, it's about incorporating those dreams into your overall plan.
I love that.
Right.
Okay, so thinking long term.
Long term.
We have to talk about the big one.
Retirement.
Retirement.
Yeah, this is where things can get a bit daunting.
It can for people.
It feels so far away.
It does. Thinking about retirement.
Especially if you're not sure where to even start.
Right.
But the articles provide some really helpful guidance.
Okay, good.
On how to approach retirement planning.
Okay.
In a manageable way.
I like that.
Step by step.
Okay.
So I have to confess. Yeah.
Sometimes I push retirement planning
to the back burner.
To the back of my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Because it feels so far away.
It does.
But one of the articles had this really interesting example.
Oh, tell me about it.
That made it feel much more tangible.
Okay.
They talked about a 56-year-old couple.
Okay.
Planning to retire in 10 years.
Okay.
And they broke down their projected expenses in retirement.
Yeah.
Factoring in things like potential increases in healthcare costs.
Yeah, healthcare is a big one.
Big one.
Especially as you get older.
And then they estimated their income from sources like Social Security and retirement plans.
So they really looked at the numbers.
They crunched the numbers.
And they figured out exactly how much
additional savings
they needed each year to reach their goal.
That's right.
I love that.
It makes the whole process seem much less intimidating.
Less scary.
When you break it down into smaller steps.
Right.
And the articles also touch on some key concepts.
Like what?
That are essential to understand.
Okay.
Like the 4% rule.
The 4% rule?
So the 4% rule
What is that?
Suggests that withdrawing 4% of your retirement portfolio each year, adjusted for inflation, should allow your money to last
throughout your retirement. Okay, so that's good.
A helpful guideline. But the articles did include a word of caution.
What's that?
So the 4% rule is based on historical market performance.
Okay.
And there's no guarantee that future returns will be the same.
So you can't just assume that it's going to work out perfectly.
It's just a starting point.
Right.
And it's crucial to adjust your plan based on your individual circumstances and risk tolerance.
So be adaptable.
Be adaptable.
Along the way.
Okay.
Now, what about those of us who haven't started saving for retirement yet?
The late bloomers.
The late bloomers.
What do they say about us?
Any advice?
Well, they emphasize the importance of taking advantage of employer-sponsored retirement plans.
Okay.
Especially if your employer offers a matching contribution.
It's free money.
It's free money.
Can't beat that.
So it's a huge missed opportunity if you don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Even if you can only contribute a small amount initially.
Yeah.
It's worth getting started.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
And one of the articles had a pro tip I thought was really smart.
Oh, what's that?
Try to make your IRA contributions early in the year.
Early in the year.
Why is that?
Because it gives your money more time to potentially grow.
Oh, that makes sense.
Throughout the year.
Yeah.
And it helps you get into that habit of prioritizing your retirement savings.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From budgeting and debt management to insurance, student loans, and even retirement planning.
We've hit it all.
We did.
It's clear that personal finance is a multifaceted topic.
Yeah.
And there's always more to learn. Always more to learn.
But where do we go from here?
Right. How do we keep this momentum going?
How do we level up our financial literacy even further?
That is the question.
Well, I think the key is to view personal finance as a lifelong learning journey.
Okay.
There are so many resources available to help you stay informed and continue to grow your financial knowledge.
And speaking of resources,
yes,
I know we have a fantastic list of personal finance podcasts that we can share with our listener today.
These podcasts are like having a personal finance coach in your pocket.
Right, in your pocket.
They're a great way to stay up to date on the latest financial trends.
Okay.
Get actionable advice.
Yeah.
And even find inspiration from others who are on their own financial journey.
Love it.
So.
Sounds like the perfect way to wrap up our deep dive.
It does.
So let's get ready to reveal our top 10 picks.
All right.
For the best personal finance podcasts out there.
All right. So let's kick off our list with a classic.
Okay.
The Ramsey Show.
Oh, yeah. Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
He's a legend.
He is.
In the personal finance world.
Absolutely. And he's known for his tough love approach to getting out of debt.
Oh, Baby steps.
The baby steps.
Everyone knows about the baby step.
They've become almost legendary.
Yeah, and he really emphasizes getting rid of debt as quickly as possible.
That's the key.
Which can be super motivating.
Very motivating. It's definitely an intense approach.
Yeah.
But it works for a lot of people.
And it airs every weekday.
Every weekday.
So there's always fresh content.
Always fresh advice caller questions.
I love those debt-free screams.
Those debt-free screams are the best.
Okay, so next up we have a show that's all about practicality and consumer savvy.
Right.
The Clark Howard Podcast.
Clark Howard.
I feel like Clark Howard has been around forever.
He's been a trusted voice in personal finance for years.
Yeah.
And his podcast is just a treasure trove of money-saving tips and advice.
Practical advice.
Very practical.
What kind of things does he talk about?
Oh, he covers everything from negotiating better deals on insurance.
Oh, that's good.
To finding the best travel rewards programs.
Oh, that's good too.
It runs the gamut. And his show airs twice a week.
Okay, so there's always something new.
Always something new.
All right, now for a show that focuses on empowering women to take control of their finances.
We have to include Women and Money.
Yes.
Hosted by Suze Orman.
The one and only Suze Orman.
I mean, she is a force.
She is.
In the personal finance world.
I love her advice.
Her advice is so straight-talking.
Yeah.
And insightful. And she really emphasizes the importance of financial independence.
Yeah.
And security for women.
Absolutely.
Her show airs on Sundays and Thursdays.
And I love that she doesn't shy away from tough topics.
She's always willing to address those unique financial challenges that women face.
Okay, moving on to a show that's known for its insightful and engaging conversations about money.
Okay, what's that?
So Money.
So Money.
For Farnoosh Torabi.
Farnoosh, she's a fantastic interviewer.
She is. She brings on such great guests.
Such a diverse range of guests.
Yeah, like who?
Entrepreneurs, authors, financial experts.
You name it.
It's a great way to get those different perspectives.
Yeah.
On money management and wealth building.
And when does it air?
She releases new episodes 3 times a week.
Okay.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay.
So there's always something.
And for anyone who's interested in real estate investing.
Real estate.
Bigger Pockets Money.
Bigger Pockets Money is a must listen.
It is. It's hosted by Mindy Jensen and Scott Trench.
They're great.
And it dives deep into the world.
Deep dive.
Of property investing.
Yes.
What do they talk about?
So they share inspiring stories from real estate investors. They offer practical tips on how to get started.
Okay.
And they even analyze specific deals.
Wow, that's in-depth.
It is.
Soon does it air?
New episodes drop twice a week on Mondays and Fridays.
Okay. Now, if you're looking for a show that's all about designing a life you love.
I like that.
Afford Anything.
Afford Anything.
Hosted by Paula Pant.
Paula is awesome. She explores a wide range of topics.
What kind of topics?
From investing and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
To travel and minimalist living. So it's about...
She's all about finding ways
Yeah.
to afford the things that matter most to you.
Okay.
Whether that's early retirement world travel.
Yeah.
Or pursuing your passions.
I love that.
And you can expect 2 new episodes each week.
Okay, next up we have The Money Guy Show.
The Money Guy Show.
Hosted by financial planners Brian Preston and Bo Hansen.
Great duo.
They are. It's packed with practical advice and actionable strategies.
Very actionable.
What kind of things do they talk about?
They cover everything from investing and retirement planning to tax optimization and estate planning.
Wow. They really cover the whole spectrum.
They do. And they release episodes 3 times a week.
Okay.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you're looking for a quick daily dose of financial wisdom,
quick and easy,
Optimal Finance Daily.
Optimal Finance Daily is a great option.
So what's special about this one?
Well, host Diana Merriam narrates insightful blog posts from top personal finance experts.
Oh, interesting.
And it covers a variety of topics in bite-sized episodes, typically around 10 minutes long.
Oh, perfect for those busy days.
When you're short on time.
Okay, for a deeper dive into the world of investing and financial markets.
Right.
Money for the rest of us.
Money for the rest of us.
It's hosted by former chief investment strategist, J. David Stein.
So he breaks down those complex financial concepts into understandable language.
That's so important.
It is. And he offers valuable insights on how to invest wisely.
And when does it air?
New episodes are released every Wednesday.
And last but not least,
what do we have?
Planet Money.
Planet Money from NPR.
I love Planet Money.
It's great. It explores the world of economics and finance through engaging storytelling, and fascinating real-world examples.
It's a really unique approach.
Very unique. And they release new episodes twice a week on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Okay, so there you have it.
That's our list.
Our top 10 picks for personal finance podcasts.
To fuel your financial journey.
I hope our listeners enjoy those.
Yes, we hope you find them as informative and inspiring as we do.
Absolutely.
So remember,
yeah,
personal finance is a journey, not a destination.
That's a great way to put it.
There's always something new to learn.
Yeah.
New strategies to try. And new goals to pursue.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
yes,
we want to leave you with a final thought.
A final thought to ponder.
What's one small step you can take today to make progress toward one of your financial goals?
Doesn't have to be a huge leap.
Yeah, it could be tiny.
Even a tiny step in the right direction.
Exactly.
Can make a difference.
Like what?
Maybe it's setting up a budget, automating a savings transfer, or even just spending 15 minutes reading up on a financial topic that interests you.
Yeah. Every little bit counts.
Every small action counts.
Absolutely. And over time.
Those
small steps can lead to big results.
Big results, exactly.
So stay curious. Keep learning.
Keep learning.
And keep taking action.
Until next time.